Kuala Lumpur is one of the world's most vibrant cosmopolitan cities, rich in a variety of urban cultural resources which are depicted through the city's landmarks, architecture, and urban landscape. Its multicultural and multi-ethnic society results in its unique identity. Kuala Lumpur was founded in 1857, where colonies were set up to open tin mines by a member of the Selangor royal family. It attracted merchants leading to an early established community. Yap Ah Loy, a high-ranking civil administrator, had the most impact in developing the city. He set up Kuala Lumpur's first school and shelter for the homeless. This allowed the shophouses to take form and streets to be built for various transports. A river transport landing was allocated to ensure shipping of supplies for tin miners and allowed access to open trade. In 1960, the Klang River flow was redirected into a more linear form to suit the growing master plan. The development of rubber led to a high demand for transportation, resulting in the need for more symmetrical roads. In the span of 50 years, Kuala Lumpur's once small settlement increased rapidly with the addition of the new railway system after Malaysia's independence. As transportation improved, proximity to the river was no longer needed, and the urban pattern expanded to the south. Due to the congestion of the city center in the south, government policies were implemented to reactivate the waterfront and encourage pedestrian access. Also, the buildings have expanded into the roads to create narrower paths with layered towering structures. The linear built forms retains the original footprint of the Chinese row houses of the 1800s. The scale and layout provides an intimate pedestrian environment. The linear building features create an attraction for commercial public activities and private encounters. The enclosed areas consist of public, service, and civic buildings such as schools, stations, and government administration. Within the enclosed building typology, open spaces in between allow public gatherings for communal activities. Point building typology consists of developed and redeveloped high-rise offices and shopping malls. Public and private activities are seen confined within the building blocks. The site is layered with different building compositions, categorized as high-rise, mid-rise, heritage shops, and market stalls. Irregularity is caused due to the varying grid patterns and layers of the buildings. This adds complexity, giving the site a unique, vibrant identity. Having strong linearity and repetitive elements indicate distance. It can be considered a strategy for pedestrians to subconsciously enjoy the local build form identity. Directive uses big structures such as Kasturi Walk's trademark entrance signs or Petaling Street's grand entrance openings as indicator to guide the movement. The districts are divided into 4 main categories that define the site. The 2 largest districts are divided by the main edge. The minor edges separate the mixed district's cultural identity. And the hidden edges are a division of culture that cannot be seen on a map. For example, the Art Deco style museums and postmodern skyscrapers. Formal paths are the main arterial streets for pedestrians making their way to the inner city center. Connected by transportation stops, secondary formal paths lead to public attractions. The paths within the heritage district are more permeable. However, the back alleys are less frequented by tourists. To the north, streets are more pedestrian-friendly as they have more formal paths and transportation links surrounding modern high-risers. To the west, formal paths link to public and government buildings frequented by office workers. Pedestrians reach the site through train and bus stations, thereafter moving towards Petaling Street. The movement then spreads out into the secondary formal roads, used mostly by local shop owners, office workers, and students. During the afternoon, movement extends towards food streets and other public attractions such as Custody Walk and Petaling Street. In the evening, pedestrian movement concentrates along Petaling Street and its vibrant nightlife as Central Market and Custody Walk reach their closing hours. The Pasar Seni bus station is conveniently located within proximity to the site, with bus stops scattered around. The Pasar Seni LRT station is located right in front of the site and is used by workers and shop owners. Access to the site through LRT, KTM, and monorail systems are as follows. It is easily accessible within Klang Valley, KLIA, and even Seremban. The vehicular intensity changes throughout the day based on activity intensity. As Site B is centrally located, it is near banks and offices. Governmental buildings monopolize the west side and the arts and crafts programs are sponsored by the government. The government also provides public open spaces to the pedestrians' advantage. Due to the historical conflicts, the religious institutions are spread out, drawing in local traditions of built form and provide a sense of character to the place. Hotels can be seen in abundance to accommodate tourists who have come to visit commercial buildings in the surrounding vicinity. Public transport is conveniently located, and future developments are to come in the year 2020. Visual landmarks are recognized as buildings that stand out for its height and scale. Historical landmarks are buildings of value for its architecture style and historic prominence. Cultural landmarks are art-related museums or landmarks that indicate the cultural identity of the area. These are landmarks that are frequently used by the local community. They create opportunities for the area to establish cultural identity and enhance public interaction. The nodes are divided into two categories. Target nodes are high-intensity pedestrian contact points that are emphasized by enclosing and defining them with prominent landmarks. The quality of the built environment around these nodes creates an early impression of the city to its visitors. As most of the spontaneous nodes are formed close to the target nodes, they become passive points of contact for pedestrians. The notion of strollability is encountered as these contact points are formed involuntarily nearby restaurants, cafes, open spaces, and the market stalls. According to statistics, the site is primarily dominated by Malays and tourists, due to the amount of workers selling local traditional handicrafts that attract tourists. Most users are above the age of 22. They consist of workers and tourists. Most of the users are local workers and transients. Since the site is a tourist hotspot, tourists make up 44% of the served population, while the local and foreign workers are equally served. More locals work in the industry than foreigners, due to their expertise in local handicraft. Therefore, in conclusion, the statistics help us understand the dynamics of the site according to various times of the day, in which in turn will inform the suitable type of activities and programs for our proposal. At an average junction, the composition of elements on building facade and contrasting elements between them creates visual quality and interest. Corner sites are visually prominent, emphasizes the junction, and encourages people to adhere to traffic regulations due to its symmetry. The government provides nice open spaces such as the historical triangle between buildings. Greeneries and seating areas are provided. However, users merely use it as a transitional space from point A to point B. People tend to walk under shaded areas. As activities form, spill-out increases the vitality of the public realm and attracts larger crowds. As part of the 2020 city plan for the enhancement of heritage trails, activity zones are defined along corridors of the river ranging from active to passive dependent on the type of opportunities or constraints they present. Our site lies within passive zone G, the constraint being that there aren't any buildings with frontages onto the river. Hence, emphasis is made on creating a designated riverside walkway in this zone. This can be achieved through the following guidelines. Any permanent structures to be built along the riverside must be set back 10 meters from the riverbank, constituting a 7-meter public walkway and a 3-meter vehicular pathway. Additionally, a 3-meter cantilever over the river is allowed for more pedestrian activities. A standard 6-meter setback is maintained around the site except the side along LRT line. Here, the proposed building can be set back a minimum of 3 meters from the LRT track. Temporary structures and greenery for pedestrian activities can be designed under the LRT line as long as a minimum clear space of 1.5 meters is maintained overhead. DBKL also allows for a maximum of 3 floors to be built underground. The target users of researchers' design position are pedestrians within a 500-meter radius from the site, which can be categorized into 2 main groups of local and transient. Based on the user analysis of pedestrian demographics, the higher percentage of transient groups indicate the need to address the tourism sector, while the traders and working class make most of the local percentage of pedestrians. This is due to 150 meters proximity of Pasar Seni LRT and bus station, providing for a suitable environment for a steady flow of pedestrians towards the site. The location of a taxi and bus stand within 30 meters of the site further enhances tourist and transient pedestrian intensity in and around the site. Thus, the design position of the project as an activator of pedestrian movement would address the existing vehicular traffic by encouraging walking and in turn discouraging travel by car. The ongoing River of Life project, through its programs and promenade walks covering exceeding 500 meters from the site, would in theory spur the number of pedestrians. The design position also addresses this by the proposal to activate, strengthen, and sustain pedestrian activity. A new development. The River of Life sets along Gombak Klang River, which affects our site, placed within the passive zone between Lepo Pasar Besar and Jalan Tan Chek Lok. This illustrates the stretch along Central Market and Daya Bumi by 2020. What is to be expected from this project are an increase in residents and employment ratings in the area, create a more livable city, and more. This diagram shows ongoing development along the stretch. The cultural bridge provides connection between proposed cultural activities in the heritage zone to Daya Bumi. Since the River of Life is an up-and-coming project, instead of containing programs within the site, we should create programs to complement the project. One of the current site issues is the LRT track, which physically separates our site and the riverfront. This is overcome by the existing connections to the river, which are the staircase, bridges, and spaces under the LRT line. Another major site issue is that the LRT will block views of the river from the proposed building. Our proposed solution would be to elevate the building to a desirable height to visually connect to the River of Life. The site currently sits strategically among 3 cultural trails which form the basis and spine of the city center's tourist industry. Beginning at the guiding gallery, Chinatown Trail takes users through a trail which consists of old shop houses which lies along the historical triangle, to historical building Wisma Fui Chu along Petaling Street, old shop houses, Sri Maha Mariamman Temple, Guandi Temple, Sinza Siya temples, and back to the historical triangle. Colonial Trail lies within 500 meters of our site, from Masjid Jamid to Sultan Abdul Samad Building and the Textile Museum onwards. The Cultural Trail includes Central Market and Kasturi Walk, towards Pasar Seni LRT to the Pejabat Pos and Menara Daya Bumi. Chinatown Trail are of commercial and cultural in nature. For tourists, it's a place to experience culture of the area and purchase as the main activity. For locals, it is a place of wholesale, and for the workers, it is a place of main source of income. For tourists, Colonial Trail provides for a learning experience through museums, while for locals, it is used for administrative purposes. Cultural Trail for tourists to learn about the nation's culture in the realm of arts, tradition, and craft. Central Market and Custody Walk form the commercial anchor for culturalism, where tourists come and buy local arts and craft products. The Central Annex provides for spaces to learn about experience and culture. For locals, the site is a sustaining hub for culturalism where newcomers may learn and invest in local arts. The current crop of artists and craftsmen are able to sell their products and at the same time generate income for the industry. The current status of local artists and culture is at a steady level. However, increase in new investors are slow. This calls for sustenance of industry in the future. The strategic location makes the site plausible as a gateway or platform for existing culturalism. With a combination of the existing car park site and the LRT station in close proximity provides inflow of pedestrians. LRT and bus corridors allow workers to come from LRT drop-off at the Pasar Seni LRT station. From there, they can go from various places. From the car park at site, workers and store owners walk to their respective workplaces. Transient parks at site to walk around the city. The pedestrians use the site as a transition point due to the Central Market, Custody Walk, and Cultural Bridge. Central Market and the Custody Walk are part of the Heritage Walk. The proposal addresses the existing role as cultural sustenance to the area and its potential as a gateway to culturalism. It also acts as a neutral point balancing between administrative, learning, and commercial districts in the area. These points can be addressed in 2 points of view, the tourist and the local. The design position proposes to act as a platform for tourists to explore, learn, and experience their existing areas, spots, and programs. From a local point, it can be a platform to sustain the art and culture scene by increasing new investors and condition current crop through showcase of work to the public. Options for program include practice performance spaces and demonstrating classes to allow tourists to experience the culture through a local and less commercialized view. These programs complement the existing cultural activities and encourage new ones to spring out around the city. Based on interviews with pedestrians, it was found that there was a lack of public realms for them to rest before continuing on their journey on foot. Local shop owners disagreed, as they felt public spaces are not necessary for them. A proposal for a People's Park as a transitional space to gather the pedestrians, encourage walking, create a designated community space, and improve opportunities for the neighboring shop owners. The undergoing River of Life project will create a long recreational public ground that can also be linked to our proposed park. The diversity of races and religion on the site has created an invisible edge due to the lack of interrelationship. For example, Petaling Street is influenced by Chinese culture, taking into account various Chinese temples nearby. The Custody Walk is an expression of Malay culture, and Hindu culture is exhibited by the Sri Maha Mariam temple next to Petaling Street. There's also a number of Kashmirs around the area that sells collectibles, silks, and other products from their country. The respective culture, tradition, and religion that brings different identities to our site are disconnected from each other. Our proposal is to use the People's Park to bring these communities together and break these invisible edges. Bargain hunters approach Petaling Street during the night for cheaper deals and food hunting. This is also the peak hours for bars and pubs. Apart from the night attractions, other places become dormant and is unsafe. The future development along the River of Life also could enliven the riverfront and could result in a safer community space. Event space can be proposed for nighttime activities to bring in vibrancy which complements the purpose of the River of Life. Currently, the site is a car park for the Central Market users consisting of 115 normal parking lots and 2 parking lots for OKU. The demolition of the current parking lots causes insufficient parking at the site, resulting in the need for relocation. The solution is to propose the basement parking as a replacement to serve the staff and visitors of Central Market. There is a congestion of heavy human traffic from the Pasar Seni LRT station and bus stop to our site. However, the proposed design might block the way to the main entrance of Central Market and cause bad circulation from Kasturi Walk to the River of Life. A clustered organization will improve the circulation and accessibility to the site. Leading pathway from the main road to the main entrance of Central Market respects the relationship between the heritage building and creates a welcoming entrance. A lack of proper pedestrian pathways around the site lead to the use of the car park as the main pathway to the entrance of the Central Market. Traffic congestion is caused by the entrance to the car park and by the buses and taxis that are stationed beside the road in front of the site. A proper pedestrian pathway can be designed for safety reasons. A drop-off point can be designed to complement the existing bus stop. The Culture Forest is a cultural and welfare center in a Korean urban background. It is imagined as a public plaza by breaking the form to create public and communal spaces. The center of attraction is the theater in a vast open space. The center invites the public by the large flight of stairs at the entrance. The center introduces various programs such as Child Care Center, Musical Library, Gallery Lounge, and many more. The programs are layered and interchanged to encourage the collaboration of arts. Open spaces are alternated within the building to provide the circulation. The transitional spaces creates informal contact points which enhances social vibrancy. The aim of Grand River Public Space is to revitalize the activities in the neighborhood of Detroit. It is located at an open space with a lack of public amenities to live in the area. It is within reach of wide pedestrian pathways and is surrounded by greeneries, which improves the walkability and scalability. The triangular space has programs such as the stage that allows performances and amenities for local vendors, the hub, and many more. The hub is the magnet of the park, which attracts visitors with its programs and interesting views. The flexibility of the Grand River Public Space allows a multitude of formal and informal spaces to materialize. Is a project meant to reanimate the neglected heritage shophouses in Kuala Lumpur. The urban zone that it is located in makes it easily accessible. The shophouses are restored to retain the European Chinese residential architecture to retain the memories of the place. Programs of the project are to complement the neighboring programs. The communal event space is the meeting point for multiple activities which appeals to the public. This eventually improves the vitality of the surroundings. Transparency and openness invites people into the public space, accompanied by its greeneries. The double volume space and balcony provides a welcoming ambience to its visitors. In conclusion, the precedent studies are chosen for the contextual relevant programs respective to their briefs and surrounding sites. These studies act as reference for architecture responses and strategies for this research to inform the design position. The design position is to sustain culture and industry through tracing Malaysian patterns by addressing the target users of pedestrians and walking groups. Proposed program will activate, strengthen, and sustain existing and future communities, development, and activities of Pasar Seni. Programs such as Atelier or Studio, handicraft or skills training for youth, jobless or street performers, and cultural engagement activities for locals and transients.